One of the main questions facing the Founding Fathers was what type of government to set up. They had just had a bad experience with the Confederacy, which concentrated power in the states with a weak central government, and they were still smarting from the unfairness of the unitary system they had dealt with in England. What the Founding Fathers came up with was a system of government called federalism, which is sort of a combination of the two. Federalism calls for a strong national government, but still leaves some power in the hands of individual states.
And so the states were bound together under a strong national government, but still had some specific powers reserved just for them. Including, but not limited to, choosing their own license plate slogans.
The framers of the Constitution created a stronger national government than had been done with the Articles of Confederation. At the same time, they protected the interests of the states. A big concern the framers had was of putting way too much power in the hands of one individual or one branch of the government. To address this concern, they decided to separate the powers. Separation of powers divides government power between three federal branches: the executive, legislative, and judicial. The Constitution guarantees that each branch is interdependent upon the other branches via checks and balances. This system of checks and balances gives each branch of government a little bit of control over the others, which allows them to check up on each other. That way, one branch is not allowed to monopolize power.
But there's one more concept to rope into this here caravan of constitutional principles, and that's the Supremacy Clause.
The Supremacy Clause lets everyone know who's in charge. The Supremacy Clause holds that the laws of the Constitution and the nation as a whole are supreme in regard to the laws enacted by each state.
The Supremacy Clause means that any legitimate use of power by the federal government takes precedence over any conflicting actions on the state level. For example, if the federal government's judicial branch finds a law in a state unjust and ridiculous,
the state of Maine outlaws the consumption of any food other than lobster and saltwater taffy.
the state has to nix that law. That's because the judicial branch is responsible for enforcing and interpreting laws through a court system. So, on the legal highway, federal laws have the right of way.